Overthinking. It's like trying to untangle a web by pulling at every thread. The more you struggle, the tighter it becomes. Today, I want to share 3 stories that have guided me through moments when my mind felt like a storm. Perhaps they will guide you too. The first story is about a young archer. This archer had unparalleled skill, striking targets from incredible distances. One day, he challenged an elderly monk to a contest, confident in his ability. He shot an arrow perfectly into a distant tree. Turning to the monk, he said, "Beat that." The monk smiled and invited the archer to follow him. They climbed to the edge of a cliff where a frayed rope bridge swayed above a deep canyon. The monk stepped onto the bridge, standing in its center. With a steady hand, he drew his bow and shot his arrow straight into a distant tree across the chasm. Then he turned to the archer and said, "Your skill is remarkable, but tell me, can you shoot with the same precision when your footing is uncertain?" The archer couldn't bring himself to step onto the bridge. His mind was consumed by fear of the fall. When we overthink, we're like the archer standing at the cliff's edge. Our minds create endless what-ifs, and we lose the ability to act. Instead, focus on the task at hand, not the stories your mind weaves. The second story comes from a wandering monk. On a hot summer's day, he arrived at a stream parched from walking. As he bent down to scoop water, he noticed the surface was muddied by his footsteps. He waited, watching the water settle until it became clear again. Only then did he drink. You see, the mind is like that stream. When you overthink, it becomes clouded with unnecessary thoughts. But if you're patient and still, clarity will return. Don't force it. Let it come naturally. The final story is my own. Early in my journey, I would sit for hours in meditation, frustrated by my racing thoughts. One day, my teacher handed me a cup filled to the brim with water. "Carry this to the top of the hill without spilling a drop," he said. As I climbed, every step was deliberate. My focus was on the cup, nothing else. When I reached the top, I was astonished. My mind had been silent the entire time. My teacher smiled and said, "When you give your full attention to one thing, the noise quiets itself." Overthinking isn't something to fight. It's something to understand. Focus on your footing like the archer, be still like the stream, and pour your attention into the present like the cup. Life will always bring challenges, but you don't have to make them heavier with your thoughts. If these stories resonated with you, let me know your thoughts. And if you know someone who might need this wisdom, pass it along. Let's create a ripple of calm in a world that often feels chaotic.